Welcome to the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show with your host, me, Morro.
And me, Mortos.
Johnny the Beast, Mortos.
A distant cousin.
A distant cousin. I thought it was you under the big mask, to be perfectly honest.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Maybe it is. Johnny Mortos, the Beast, closer to the mask. Do you know what? It's kind of a rainy day outside and the glasses are fogging up.
But it's intermittently sunny as well, so you need to have the options.
I had to have the glasses, but the issue I'm having is it's my gimmick and I should really wear them. I don't have a gimmick.
Your gimmick is just wearing sunglasses.
Guy who wears sunglasses inside.
Like vaguely militaristic.
Vaguely militaristic. Can I say the military that I'm going for?
Is it Cuban?
It's Cuban. It's Cuban.
Good.
Yeah, you got
We're on night dressers.
Yeah, and not the Reza Ramon style Cuban. I was going more of the Fidel Castro. Yeah.
He kept it tight.
He was an interesting character, actually.
He was. Welcome to the History Podcast.
I actually could talk about Castro all day, but we won't. We're here to talk about WWE Bad Blood.
I was wondering if there's going to be some nice Cuban segue into.
I couldn't think of one. Damien Priest? No, he's not Cuban. He's Puerto Rican.
We got nothing.
We have not. No Rez Ramon to segues from Castro
Cuban
to Bad Blood.
His days are long gone. Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell. Well, the first thing I noticed was there was only one D in Bad for this Bad Blood.
Wait, was there traditionally two Ds?
In the Shawn Michaels
there was.
Undertaker one, it was
like
BA double D.
You know it's good business when it's the BA double D.
Yeah, I was just a little bit disappointed.
Mark Marrow at the high point of his career.
Yeah, the double D. Yeah. But just go with the double D. It looks cool.
Yeah, it's really. Oh. Yeah, it wasn't even. It was Bad Street USA double D for the Fabulous Freebirds. Did they throw out two Ds?
They did, I think.
Anyway, yeah.
But so we lost a D.
You lost a D. Sad day for wrestling history.
In the intervening 27 years, a D disappeared.
But we did gain a meaningful Hell in a Cell match.
At last.
It's been a long time coming.
At last. You know,
the days of Vince McMahon, 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one night.
And one tinted red.
And they painted it red.
They painted it red. And they finished.
Fucking playset tie-in off that.
Oh my God. That's what it was. Yeah. 100%. And it finished in a DQ.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell finished. Not this one. That one.
I think the Seth Rollins Bray Wyatt match in 2019 left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not even that long ago, and it was the one gimmick match that, for so long, held a lot of power in its reputation. And then to see it get devalued to, a guy's getting DQ'd inside it.
Yeah,
he just used too much violence
with a mallet.
Like what?
A rubber mallet.
Yeah.
Going back,
a supernatural clown.
I remember years ago I had 2 VHS recorders, and I got everyone I knew who had a Hell in a Cell match on tape. I gathered up all the tapes in CBS and made a compilation of Hell in a Cell matches. This is around 99, so there's probably about 3 or 4 matches at the time.
Yeah, but you got some really good stuff in there.
Well, you got Shawn Michaels, you had the Mick Foley one, obviously.
Famously.
And probably Armageddon 99 as well, I'd say.
Yeah.
Which, wasn't
2000.
Great. Was that 2000?
I think, it was 2000, yeah.
Yeah.
99's Hell in a Cell was infamously Undertaker and Big Boss Man.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Which I do have a soft spot for. I know it gets buried, but and the finish is great. For anyone who doesn't know, the Big Boss Man gets lynched.
Yeah, he gets literally
by a bunch of vampires.
Yeah. That was WrestleMania 15, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Gimmick overkill.
Yeah, they overkilled that one. But in Atlanta, Georgia, Saturday night, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre saved the gimmick. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. I loved how much Michael Cole hyped up the cage match history of Atlanta throughout the show.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because there's an amazing fucking history there. Like last Battle of Atlanta, fucking... it was Dusty's thing down there for so long as well.
They had a War Games there, I think, at one stage. Yeah,
War Games debuted there.
Was the first one.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, serious lineage. And then you got this feud that's been building up for 10 months. 2 lads who really hate each other. And we can all feel that this is the right time for this to end.
Yes, it peaked.
It feels like the finale. Yeah. They've actually structured the whole thing really well considering injuries. And
I'm going to make a hot take in advance of the match. 5 minutes before this match started, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre feud was the biggest disappointment of 2024.
You thought that?
Yeah. Given how they started when Punk was injured, the heat that they generated throughout Punk's injury, then to go into their first singles match, SummerSlam, which, in my opinion, didn't hit. All the bracelet stuff drove me mad. And then they come out, and a lot of the feud after that is centered on the bracelet. Then they go to the strap match. We know Punk is excellent in chain strap match situations. That was a bit of a dud for me. I was like, this feud was so amazing until they got in the ring. I was sat there Saturday night going, they have one chance to turn this feud back into what it was at the start. And they stuck the landing.
Yeah, I think it's... I think we're in a good position where we can critique a WWE 10-month storyline.
Yeah,
poke relatively minor holes.
Yeah, I suppose I am nitpicking there. It's just what you expect from Drew and Punk wasn't what I was getting, or what Drew and Punk are capable of.
I wonder how much injuries and apparently contract negotiations and
Drew's contract negotiations around many a time.
I think in terms of keeping it simmering for 10 months, he did a good job. It felt like the end, and I also feel like SummerSlam wasn't a barn burner, but I think it gave us enough. The strap match, I tend to agree with you, but again, it kept it lit in an interesting way. And I feel like even as fans looking at those two matches, you just know, even based on the very logical, cohesive WWE and AEW storytelling that we get nowadays, there's a real big onus on the 3 matches and the feud is finished.
Yeah. That's been going on for years.
We've just seen Okada and Bryan probably do their version of that on AEW Dynamite.
Yeah.
But that, like...
a disappointment as well, in my opinion.
Okay, we can talk... Maybe you can't talk about that. But
no, we'll do that another day.
But then, to see that structure, it's been so well embedded back into mainstream wrestling. And we always knew in the back of our heads, we're like, oh, fuck, Bad Blood is back.
Yeah.
Going to do a Hell in a Cell. They've kept Hell in a Cell on ice for long enough now that we can, with the right feud, we can get excited about it. And that feud was tailor-made for it.
And it was perfect because for years we had Hell in a Cell named pay-per-view.
Yeah, talk about fucking overkill.
You knew you were getting 2-3 Hell in a Cell matches.
Elimination Chamber is kind of in that.
It is. It's in that limbo now of...
It is.
You need to cut the name of it, and you need to do the same with Money in the Bank. Stop doing it every June because it's June. And same with Elimination Chamber. Stop doing it every February because it's February.
I'd love to see Money in the Bank back at WrestleMania.
You stick it anywhere. Just say, WrestleMania is perfect for it, but they always do another big ladder match at Mania anyway.
Yeah.
So just do that one. Last year was the tag teams, 5 tag teams in an over-convoluted, you have to pull down both sets of titles separately tag match.
Yeah, Money in the Bank, though, at this stage is probably, even as a pay-per-view, you could say that if the pay-per-view itself wasn't popular, but it routinely is.
It is popular.
It is kind of the contemporary King of the Ring now.
Yeah, it is. It's become...
Brought King of the Ring back, and they've also made that King of the Ring, which helps.
Yeah, true.
It's good to have the two things.
Money in the Bank has kind of become their 5th big pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, yeah.
But I also feel that, and I think that even the hardcore WWE fan base might agree with me on this, the briefcase has lost its luster. They've done so much with it over 20 years.
She's done a good job of pimping it up.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Giving it a makeover.
Let's get into Punk Drew. Double juice.
Double juice, a lot of weapons.
Yeah, look,
a lot of logical violence. I felt like they really went for a classic kind of Jim Crockett era cage match. It was grimy and dirty. Nobody needed to be doing fucking bumps off the top of the cell.
No.
You know what I mean? Everything was just going to be pure violence with weapons.
Yeah, and
in a cage you can't escape from.
They sold the career-changing violence element of it.
I love that, and that's how it always should be.
Yeah. And see, in years gone by, Cole is on commentary trying to sell that this is career-changing violence, and I'm watching it going, no, it's not.
It really isn't.
But
the guy just got DQ'd.
Yeah, exactly. With a rubber mallet.
You know what I mean?
Whereas with this, it felt like that again.
Yeah.
That suplex to the outside through the table was sensational.
That insane bump that Drew did on the steps.
Oh my God. The miss on the Claymore kick, lower back to the steps.
And he sold that so well.
Incredible.
And it looked agonizing. It looked fucking agonizing.
Looked so sore. It reminded me of the cinder block in the Swerve Hangman match. I was it doesn't matter like what you gimmick or don't gimmick.
Yeah.
That hurts. Like it's your lower back onto something hard.
Literally like steel steps.
Oh my God,
again,
it looked so
brought the
sore.
danger back to steel steps.
They brought they did it a couple of times.
Yeah, they really did.
There was a great steel step shot pretty early in the match on the outside where Punk took one to the head, and he took it perfectly. Like he made it look like he was getting whacked with it, but he did a nice little turn at the last second.
Yeah.
But it looked incredible. I was like, that is a brilliant. What about Drew taking the toolbox to the head? That's what split him.
And it split him really hard. That's a fucking horrific gash.
Oh, horrific! Like that's like, see the amount of staples he got.
Maybe, like evidently. I mean, I'd rather get a steel chair straight to the head than that.
Probably, yeah.
Like, Punk didn't look like he was pulling it all that much.
No, you gave him a good whack with it.
Fucking whacked him with it.
But it looked fantastic because he really hit him, I suppose.
He split that man's head.
He split him wide open. Like he got like something like 15 staples or something. Wow.
Big job. It was impressively violent. And again, so simplistic in its storytelling.
It didn't get convoluted at all.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like, like Swerve and Hangman have upped the ante. But like this year particularly, and I felt like the two lads were just like, okay, we just need to use as much as we can in this cage.
Yeah.
Like the simplest way possible.
What I thought they did smart was the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a greatest hits of things you're allowed to use in WWE. And they didn't... they can't in WWE with their corporate sponsors and blah blah blah. They can't start using needles and cinder blocks and stakes from a burnt out house. You know what I mean? They can't use that.
Pizza cutters,
yeah. But what they could use, they absolutely used it perfectly. I thought.
Yeah, and I just liked. I just liked it was like all of the things that make the cell are the things you use as weapons. Yeah, like it's all the fucking tools and the wrenches. Look, you're going to need some tables there. You're going to need some chairs there. Chains, all this stuff. And I was like, it's all logical. Yeah, and it's great that they've gone back to the old cell. I do feel like it could be a bit like, that should be like the wrestling equivalent of the fucking of the throne in Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should add little things on every year, like just little bits of barbed wire or just little like cuts and like straggly bits sticking out. Just make the whole thing just look really weather beaten and inherently more violent itself. Yeah. Leave it out to rust.
Use for the same cell every year.
You know what I mean? Leave the blood on.
Leave it there.
But it is nice to be back to that fucking classic cell structure,
The only thing that annoyed me about the match, and this is the smallest nitpick of all time, and this is a WWE-centric thing, when Punk... you're
going to talk about the fucking bracelet, aren't you?
No. I'm not going to talk about the bracelet. I actually thought, look, they've used the bracelet in the story. It has become a motif of the story. So it needs to show up as motif right there.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's like
it needed to show up in the final act.
It's a sentimental prop. Look, I like that they use something new because it was very much a fan-made thing. It's a way of integrating fans into storylines.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though they didn't fucking pair.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think something got sorted out, but anyway, yeah, like it. You get it. It's going. A bracelet isn't. It's not exactly like the fucking. The rings or the Rolexes of
Ric Flair and
laser cars, but like they tied it into the emotion of the story really well.
And it like even though I hated the bracelet earlier in the feud, it's been established now as an emotional motif within the feud. It has to show back up at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kept for 10 months. It was an interesting 2 months. I was going to be charitable. I'd be like 1 month subplot. It was really a 2 month subplot.
Yeah, true.
It probably was, wasn't it? The whole. Yeah.
It's like SummerSlam, what's that, early August until they kind of wrote it out a bit there a few weeks ago.
That's probably why, and they had to do something, but it is probably why maybe, you think that the story is running on fumes a little bit because it's like, now it's about a friendship bracelet.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was the worst.
No, but they were able to heat the feud back up and then they were able to stick the landing on it.
They kept having amazing promo battles where they just...
That's all they needed
to do. And they kept promising the violence. And
they delivered the violence.
I think they delivered.
Like, my biggest fear coming into it was...
You're scared of cages.
I have a major fear of cages and chain link fences.
Not many people like being in a cage.
No, when you're caged in with a 6'5" Scottish maniac. Yeah.
Like Drew looked proper scary in that.
He did, yeah. He came out really well as well.
He really did.
And you know what?
Lost nothing in that defeat.
Punk like you worry for Punk with all the injuries he's had. He got bloody injured in the Royal Rumble match, which is probably the safest match in the history of wrestling. And he got injured in that. I was like, Punk's gone 30 minutes in a Hell in a Cell, one-on-one with Drew McIntyre.
He hasn't been like exactly wrestling weekly.
Yeah,
Like
this
he
is
was
his
back in
third
the
singles
EW.
match, third televised singles match. How's the body going to hold up? And he did 30 minutes and he looked excellent.
Yeah, I thought the match was really well structured, and I think it accommodated both of them taking breaks when they needed to.
Yeah. Punk's sharpshooter didn't look great. It looked like he was struggling there.
When has it ever?
When has it ever? What I didn't like was Drew does the countdown, the 3, 2, 1 into the Claymore kick.
Yeah.
And he did that, and Punk rolled out of the ring. And the crowd booed Punk. I'm like, Drew, you're the heel. Stop doing your countdown.
He really doesn't need that.
You don't need to count down.
Claymore is just way more effective as a sudden
Boom,
bullet.
out of nowhere. Yeah. Like,
I know he uses it that way, but like
see,
as a heel, that's just
the countdown
just
got
what it should be.
over as a face thing. So
Yeah.
like you can't still use that when you're a heel, because like it nearly turned the crowd on Punk like early in the match when the crowd needed to be with him. And I know that's super nitpick, but like this match, it was 10 out of 10. Fantastic.
I thought it was a fantastic Hell in a Cell. Punk's after victory, and he really sold what he went through.
Yeah.
Falling out of the cell,
Stumbling
just
up.
collapsing.
Just like, literally collapsing.
He's a
Like,
good performer. Like he was like, oh yeah, he genuinely seems fucked, and he probably is, because like you said, he did 30 minutes. He's wrestled a handful of times this year.
yeah. Like he did, since he's gone to WWE, right? He did 2 house show matches with Dominik, like last Christmas. He did the Royal Rumble, probably 10, 12, 15 minutes in that, which is a match where you can protect your cardio pretty easily. And now he's done the 3 Punk matches. So like that's 6 matches total in 12 months.
Yeah.
Or
He's obviously not a Bryan Danielson style proponent of like, I need to be wrestling every week.
Yeah.
I need at least one match a week.
But like, it that didn't come across didn't seem to be any major rust there or anything. I thought he looked as good as he's looked in a long time.
It was a real veterans match. I just feel like Drew is probably at this point of his tenure, much like Cody, is edging into his veteran era.
Yeah.
In the roster,
And like you think of
it really did feel like a good old school, well structured match, and I'd imagine that Drew would have taken a lot of the lead in it.
It looked that way, yeah. It looked that way.
Because he came out of it looking amazing.
He did look. The two looked fantastic. Like when you think of Punk's comeback run, not just WWE but AEW as well, this is like right up there with the very, very best of matches he's had.
Yeah, and I just think just a wonderful win for wrestling fans, because I think one of the most important things about this feud is that it obviously was not a planned feud.
No, it came out of like social media.
Punk's return was not a planned thing.
Yeah.
All of this was probably a course correct for a couple of different people in a lot of different ways.
I think their original plan was
They were going
Seth
fucking
Rollins.
Rollins.
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
And that was going to be his first big program.
It's amazing to see that kind of like mad course correct. Obviously, the Road to WrestleMania documentary is all about that in terms of what the main events were planned to be and what they ended up being.
Yeah.
But to see like so much course correcting happening real quick in response to the things that are happening, and then still segue into really well told stories.
And to get it right, that's the hard part. To get it right, I thought this pay-per-view highlighted the best and worst tendencies of Triple H as a booker.
Go on.
We'll get to the more. We can't do it in the next match, but I'll get there. So yeah, your overall thoughts on this match, John? You loved it.
I loved it. Redeemed Hell in the Cell, one of the best Hell in the Cell matches, I think. Probably since Undertaker Big Boss Man WrestleMania 15.
I think I actually think
the best in the modern era. I think. Definitely.
Yeah, I think if you're going all-time Cell matches, not counting War Games, all Cell,
but it's got a memorable feud. It's not like these two random lads are in Hell in the Cell for
their first match.
Every Hell in the Cell match should be a blood feud. Yeah. It should be two lads who need to be in there.
To me, this is top 2 Cell match ever.
Really, what do you have as number 1?
Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Undertaker, bad double D blood.
My personal favourite would be Cactus Jack Triple H.
Oh, that was fantastic as well.
But yeah, in a great era of Hell in a Cell. No way out 2000.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's my personal favourite. But there's so many good ones.
There is, yeah. Like, I know a lot of people will probably be shouting the Triple H Undertaker WrestleMania Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels referee, but nah.
Generally not a fan of that whole program.
Yeah, that was just overkill.
Michaels and Undertaker was brilliant.
Yeah,
we did not need that Undertaker Triple H stuff
twice.
Both of those guys could have been doing so much more productive things with younger talent.
The end of an era, they called it.
Fuck off.
The end of an era.
Let him still wrestle for like another 6 years.
At least. On to the second match of the night. And I just going to double check this. We had Nia Jax and Bayley in a 14-minute match, John.
Who was the second
match?
I kind of like this.
Did you?
Yeah. I thought for where it was on the card, it's literally the cool match after Hell in a Cell, fucking blood feud, bracelet feud, and they were in a very unenviable
spot. Yeah.
And I thought they both had their working boots on. There was enough. The match didn't go too long. Jax looked
14
like a beast.
minutes.
I thought Bayley looked like a really kind of resilient, scrappy.
I love Bayley. I think Bayley's even like, I know her body's starting to break down a bit in terms of like, she's had a lot of injuries build up over time. Her lower back is supposedly like, you know, that selling she does of her lower back isn't just selling. She's in bits with her lower back, and she keeps putting on really good matches.
Yeah, she really does. And they have just a weirdly good chemistry.
She's the best person for Nia Jax.
I think so. And Nia's has never looked better. Like her run this year has probably been a bit of a surprise. Yeah. When she was brought back, you know, everyone's going, she's just probably going to be a utility player in the women's division. And then you see Ray Triple H has booked her this year, and he's going, actually, no, we need to let her have one properly hot run in her career, so then she can be booked as a legacy monster. Legacy monster. Yeah, exactly. Like they did with that Andre the Giant of the women's division that they've never really had, or like that fucking just that bad, like Yokozuna, like that badass who's just this fucking truck that nobody can get through. Yeah.
I thought there was some great stuff in here. And the Tiffany Stratton stuff I thought was handled really well.
Yeah, again, I thought Nia's just like her character work has been so fantastic as well. Like, and her and Tiffany have great chemistry. Yeah, I thought that was a really good moment. It was really well put together in terms of like, it didn't look like Tiffany was cashing in, but there was a sense of it. But she was thinking, you know, she's contemplating
as well.
And that fucking Undertaker.
Yeah, great timing and stuff there. And like, what I thought was done really well as well is they didn't labour on it. Like, Nia didn't look stupid by like continuing that on. Yeah. You know, it's like there was that sense of it that you mentioned for a moment, and then it was kind of dispensed with, but there was something left lingering. Yeah. It wasn't like, I feel if you went back to the Vince McMahon era, that would have been so over the top for several minutes.
It just would have been a mess, like, and somebody would have had to look stupid. I don't think
nobody looks stupid there, which can very easily happen in those situations. Nobody looks stupid. I thought in general I wasn't a huge fan of the match. I didn't think it was terrible by any means. It was absolutely fine.
Probably on the upper echelon of the card for me, because I thought it did a really good job in a really hard spot. And advanced story.
It's working very well to
short, fairly bruising match as well. I thought
they hit each other hard.
Hard,
like Bayley hit some tremendous chops. Yeah. And I thought Nia's work, like when Bayley's coming off the ropes with the body blocks and stuff, she does that kind of stuff really, really well. I
think it's been great. I think Nia and Bayley have kind of quietly been building a really solid like feud of the year. That's there's some really good stuff as part of it, and it's not getting as much attention as say.
No, they've had two pay-per-view matches. Look, if you had given the time to Nia and Bayley as to what you'd given to Rhea and Liv.
Yeah, I think it's still part of it. It's still part of whatever storyline they're cooking with Nia. It's still ongoing, so I felt like this is a chapter in it.
Yeah, it was only a chapter. Like, I think Bayley's kind of for the most part.
Like, if they're doing best of three, like Bayley's possibly got another match coming up.
Yeah,
which will probably put an end to her feud, and where they both go from there, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like where does Bayley go after this?
Tiffany could just be Tiffany just be cashing in.
Yeah,
she's got to do that at some point.
She has to cash in on Nia, doesn't she?
That's the story.
Like, she has to, like.
It's the story they're telling.
But Nia, it feels like Nia should be the heel.
I don't know. Yeah,
they could do something really interesting where Nia is kind of like, after this development, starts to become distrustful of Tiffany and starts to bully her a little bit, and then Tiffany finally has enough. Well, bashes her and cashes in, you know?
That could work. I feel like Tiffany gets enough of a pop that I don't think a face run would actually do her any harm at this point so early.
It's out of the question.
Particularly when the fans are behind her, and she is quite likeable. And also, like, Nia's the queen. She's having the run of her career.
She's won the Queen of the Ring and the world title.
Treat her like a monster for a year. Yeah. Give her that fucking, you know, like that Yokozuna run where she's just the the heel anchor of a division, and everyone else is coming at her, and she's batting them all away fucking easily.
And then finally,
Charlotte, the Hulk Hogan situation.
Charlotte comes in. So the WrestleMania next year, Tiffany loses.
I think Charlotte's back in the mix.
Charlotte comes back.
I think, yeah.
Same night, WrestleMania 9 finish.
I feel like Tiffany and Charlotte long term. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the plan.
Like, you can see Tiffany feels in a lot of ways like
Tiffany should be the babyface there.
Has to be. Charlotte has tried babyface several times, and it's never.
Charlotte just needs to get more comfortable with making the fans really hate her.
Yeah, like she's never committed to it.
She hasn't committed to it in the way that her dad has.
Yeah, like
she's amazing in the ring. She's got great personality, but she just doesn't. She doesn't go too far
either side.
She doesn't have a lot of babyface fire, and then she just doesn't have that pure like heel disdain that even Mercedes and Becky can really conjure.
They can pull it out. Yeah. Charlotte's never been.
It's just I'm better than you, and that really works to an extent.
Yeah, but
vitriol is never.
No, there has to come a point where you do something despicable.
Yeah, and she's had a lot of poor stories, and
true.
And I don't think she's really had much of a run with Triple H's booking regime.
No, and she could fit in really well with that style.
If they had just slightly tweaked the character there,
I think a face Tiffany versus a heel Charlotte eventually would be fantastic, and it would feel like a real passing of the torch. Because even stylistically, they work very similar.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tiffany, probably not yet. She's not on Charlotte's level. Charlotte's phenomenal.
That's the thing. You don't give somebody the money in the bank. Well, you do actually. You do often give people the money in the bank briefcase when they're not ready. But
Otis,
more. Wait, what the fuck?
Where did that come from?
But more often than not. Like Austin Theory wasn't.
There's another one.
Yeah. And some people, I think it's their time, but they just don't get a proper shot. I'd say that about like a Damien Sandow.
Oh yeah. Like I am really intrigued as to where this goes with Tiffany and Nia, because
I feel like Nia at some point will really sit on her.
Oh, she's sat on lots of people.
You know what I mean?
Was it Lyra Valkyrie where she slipped? Like she lost her footing while she was going for that move, and she like sat on her.
I think that was a work.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
It was. Look, it looked great.
I hope so.
But that's the thing. Like, people are like her offense looks fucking lethal. Like,
it does look good now.
Yeah, and something to do because she has that reputation.
I've maintained a disdain for her for many years based on that reputation of
unsafe worker. But it's actually segued nicely into her gimmick now, and she hasn't. There hasn't been
anything unsafe this year. I did say in our WhatsApp group before the match, I was like, I'm being forced because of this podcast to watch my third Nia Jax singles match of the year. Like, how does this ended up happening?
5 stars?
It wasn't 5 stars. I give it a solid 2.75.
This was a 3 for me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, my scale is, if it's a 3, I'd have no issue rewatching it.
Yeah.
And so, like, generally, like, 3 and above is rewatch worthy. I thought it was just below rewatch worthy for me.
Yeah. Solid match, pushed on storylines.
There's this thing now on
best women's match of the night.
Next one.
No, it's best women's match of the night.
Oh, comfortably.
And I thought it was one of the better matches. I definitely enjoyed it more than other
comfortably. Yeah. Comfortably one of the better matches on the show as well. Yeah. Next. Priest and Balor.
Don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know how I feel about this.
The video package was mint. It made up for the
sensational.
Considering how long this story's been brewing, how weirdly lukewarm the build has felt for what should be a major, almost a Hell in a Cell worthy match itself.
They finally pulled the trigger on the split, and it has somehow cooled everything. This was supposed to heat everything back up.
Like, Priest won so decisively.
Why?
I just don't know where they're going with it.
It's the second match in a row where we had shenanigans and outside interference. The match was just a match. Like, it was just a match.
It felt like part 1 of a 3-part series. And I feel like that's maybe where it's going to be going.
Yeah, but they don't have the juice for a 3-part series.
I'm really not sure. We're looking at that. we're looking at based on the women's match that comes after, we're looking at a kind of slightly restructured Judgment Day. They need something in there. I think not having a priest character is
it all feels unbalanced at the moment.
Big enforcer, and now it's kind of like Finn Balor always loses.
Yeah,
JD, who's like fucking the absolute strong henchman vibes.
Yeah,
it's great. And then Carlito, who's been just treated a little bit too comedically.
Yeah,
so they really just need a little bit more. Like maybe Raquel's going to bring a bit of that.
But for this to have more juice in the tank, Finn needed to win the first match.
It's so decisive. Like he took fucking three coup de grace. And
got rid of the other two.
Yeah.
And then power or choke slammed him and just pinned him 1, 2, 3.
Like that's it kind of done, isn't it?
Like what do you do after that?
I honestly don't know.
I don't think he can come back and do another match.
Is he bring back the Demon?
Who cares though? He's a heel.
If the Demon showed up now at the OTT show.
Yeah, that's around Halloween. That'd be kind of cool.
You know what I mean?
If the Demon and OTT, he likes
his cosplay. He doesn't get to do it a lot in WWE.
With a bit of dry ice around
National Stadium. Don't want to be giving anyone any ideas. But
we want commission on that one.
He's Get Up looked class last night. I love the war paint.
Yeah, look cool. You know, I like when I see wrestlers.
He's been really great on the mic. I honestly think his heel work has been fantastic of late.
But he needs to win a match.
I just felt like what he needed at the moment was that win. And I just don't know
especially when JD and Carlito interfere.
I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to hope and presume that they've got some good plans coming forward for the Judgment Day. It's all felt a little bit lukewarm. That match didn't heat up.
Like that, the match was just like I watched a few matches recently on SmackDown and Raw TV matches, and they were all more pay-per-view worthy than this match. Any of the Carmelo Andrade matches have been more pay-per-view worthy than this.
Yeah, I don't think Gunter and Sami Zayn would have gone astray on this card.
Gunter and Sami Zayn's on Raw.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that?
It's like 3.5 hours and there's so much fucking filler.
I know. Now, 5 matches.
Their standard of filler has gotten better in the Triple H era, but it's just a lot of ads, a lot of celebrity tie-ins. You're not telling me like one more match. Get one more match.
Stick on Gunter and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like a tag title match. I would have liked that.
You don't want a ton of filler, and I understand like their business model is shifting now in terms of the matches and how they structure cards. But
saving money on appearances, are they?
Possibly, or just like really trying
to. It's always singles matches.
Yeah, I mean, look, it stands to bear because the storytelling's gotten way more intricate and it seems to be mapped out a lot more. And it's kind of like they feel they can justify it. That people are still going to. I don't think anyone who went to that show was going to be coming out of it unhappy because of the sheer amount of action. And
like you got one of the greatest Hell in a Cell matches of all time.
Yeah.
Like that was probably worth the price of admission alone.
Then you get the tease of a Money in the Bank cash in.
Yeah.
Then you get a clean decisive win in one of these blood feuds.
From
a storytelling perspective, I can't see what the immediate jump off point of this is.
To me, it feels like, the heel section of Judgment Day is dead.
Are we just moving straight into Judgment Day Wyatts? Judgment Day are obviously at maybe their weakest point. If Priest is moving on to something or somewhere else,
maybe we are. Yeah. Well, the Wyatts do need something to do.
The Wyatts do. I mean, Wyatts and Judgment Day is a kind of no-brainer.
Yeah, it is.
If well put together, it could be a hell of a feud,
especially coming up to Halloween.
And
maybe they're writing Finn off for a while.
Maybe. Well, he's going to be over in Ireland in a couple of weeks.
Maybe he's just getting some time off. We'll ask him. We'll see you in the National Stadium.
Yeah.
Maybe they're writing him off for a while and that's why it was decisive. Maybe he has a break coming up. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
Because it was so decisive and his henchmen interfered and he still lost and he hit his finisher 3 times and he still lost.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I wouldn't say based on the Rhea Liv match that feud is entirely over.
No, it's not.
But with this match, it was like, oh yeah, well that's
Finn's
it.
Part of it is
Priest got his revenge very decisively. Judgment Day looked a bit clownish.
And when I said earlier about this pay-per-view highlighted the best and worst tendencies of Paul Triple H Levesque, this was the highlight of his worst tendencies. He drags feuds on sometimes so long that they just lose steam by accident. Like he did it in NXT with Gargano, Ciampa, Adam Cole getting involved and also, and I was like, I don't really care anymore.
I do prefer the era of like occasionally losing steam versus the old era of never having steam.
I totally agree.
In a fucking steam-free zone most of the time.
I do agree with that
Couldn't put a kettle on to generate a bit of steam.
There was no steam. Things were done in a month. But yeah, this just frustrated me because
I think that's definitely part of like now the course correction has been so big in terms of how they tell their storylines that like I've got 2 years of storylines mapped out.
Yeah.
You feel like there may be, and like that'd be The Rock could be all over that, Gurk to be all over that. Like that plays into everyone's that itch that they have as that fans, particularly like guys who would have grown up on fucking Jim Crockett. So he's kind of very tied into that. I don't know who the wrestler was you said recently, but like it's harder to imagine you'll get a title run now because they don't happen accidentally as much as they used to,
and it's not impulsively. Yeah, and the you deserve it era is over.
Yeah,
and rightfully so.
So like it feels like all the the titles are plugged in. I feel like and the plan is already in place probably for where each title is going to end up at WrestleMania.
Oh, definitely. And I don't think either champion is losing their title before WrestleMania.
The two main champions.
Yeah. I don't think so.
No. Yeah. I'm fucking crystal balling a Gunter John Cena WrestleMania match.
You did have said that before, and you kind of sold me on it.
I feel like that's what we're going to get
because we know that Cena's getting one more title run.
Cody, I'm still not sure. Actually.
I don't think he's. I think
everyone presumes The Rock.
Cody Rock.
I've got a feeling that The Rock and Roman potentially. We'll get to that later. But like, that could heat up something wicked. I don't
know. Then we had the announcement. Triple H has vaunted massive, huge announcement.
Blood money title.
The blood money title.
Made of pure gold and the fucking tears of migrant workers.
Yeah, and 76 carat diamonds mined from a God knows where.
So the whole thing is just fucking vulgar, to be honest. But it's a bit pointless.
I lived in the region. I took the blood money myself.
Sorry, Mark, I completely forgot about that. Lawrence of Arabia. Yes.
Lawrence of Arabia. So I can't judge anyone for taking.
I won't ask you to comment, but like there was always the Saudi Arabian government like effectively kidnapped WWE for a couple of hours at one point.
It's insane,
and nobody really talks about it. Some people do, but
and I was like, and Vince was trying to strong arm the Saudi government. I was like, Vince,
and the plane's on the runway now for many hours.
You got some power, Vince.
Guys are kind of scared,
but you're dealing with a totally different beast there. Like,
he carnied his way into Saudi Arabia thinking that he can pull some strokes.
Those strokes don't work here, pal. Look, blood money aside, obviously here, it's Riyadh season. Riyadh season has become so intertwined now with boxing, MMA, and wrestling, and they just love the idea of these mega championships.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a Riyadh season idea, and Triple H is selling it. We got this title, and it's going to be champion versus champion. Look, we did the champion versus champion thing at Survivor Series for ages, and it was crap.
Yeah, and I guess that's their new concession to it. And the belt is like they've obviously been trying to get something like this together
for Saudi.
Yeah, because Braun Strowman won that greatest Royal Rumble belt in that match, and that was probably the idea.
22-man Royal Rumble.
He'll defend this every year. This is the mega belt, 50 men fight. A ton of men.
They did the King and Queen of the Ring there,
which is grand. Yeah, but they would have cheapened the Royal Rumble. Even doing it that one time cheapened the Royal Rumble.
It did, and
it was an awful Rumble.
It was absolutely crap.
It really was horrendous stuff. So at least this is their way. It's probably a concession to them.
I know, but doing champion versus champion, John, is
Survivor Series isn't about that anymore. So Survivor Series is more blood feud, whereas this is more like championship spectacle. The main champion fights the main champion.
I know, and Triple H is promising a definitive winner. I don't think he can deliver on that. Like, what do you do? Cody pins Gunter clean. Gunter pins Cody clean.
Like, I genuinely thought that this was going to be a WrestleMania match. Again, maybe this is part one of a long-term series. But Gunter, to me, always seems like the most logical, big bad for Cody to face. You know what I mean? It's like, the contrast in terms of the American Nightmare and then this... The biggest foreign heel menace since
the 80s.
Who's doing amazing work as one of the best wrestlers. Like those two as natural foils.
They're perfect for each other.
Yeah, so perfect for this definitely felt like it was potentially going to be a WrestleMania main event at some point. But they're doing it now.
In a month's time.
It's probably going to be the first chapter in probably a story with them.
Look, let me tell you something. Dream match, no story build. You know what I mean? We hear that all the time.
Like, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Oh, look, I want this match.
Yeah.
I don't want it under these conditions where they're both champions and someone has to lose. At this point, feels silly to me.
Yeah.
They also built Gunter, I nearly said Walter, Gunter Goldberg match for the future. Do you know what? I'd watch.
Absolutely.
Give me a 5-minute.
Yeah. Bill Goldberg's last match.
Yes.
Go for that absolute car crash style match that Brock and Goldberg did so well at.
Just have Gunter win
their
this
last
thing,
WrestleMania.
you know?
Yeah, I think that's all Goldberg wants. The dude is like 58.
Yeah, he just wants one last swan song.
But I also think, again, like Gunter is so experienced. He could probably build a very well structured match
100%
around Goldberg's limitations. A couple of power moves, a couple of close calls.
Gunter.
But I actually like you know, people are always going to shit talk Goldberg because Vince didn't book him. He booked him well for a while, but he didn't book him as well as he could have. Yeah. Triple H now has like one shot to book Bill Goldberg for his finale. I don't think anyone is going to go, this is a great match for Gunter.
Fantastic.
To beat a legend into retirement, particularly one who, you know, for all his drawbacks, he's been world champion twice in the last 5 years.
Do you know what this is, right? This is the moment where you never need Brock Lesnar again. You don't ever need to. Gunter becomes your new Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
You do that.
Like
Paul
he should
Heyman
fucking
car
like
crash.
He should nightfall like proper Bane Batman fucking break his back fucking send him, you know what I mean?
Send him out on a stretcher, whatever.
I think Bill Goldberg, maybe he'd want a bit more of a smile and waving in the fucking thing. Maybe he would,
yeah.
But I don't know.
If he wants that, give it to him. But like still a decisive, definitive.
I think I would love to, you know, I'd love to think somebody could talk Goldberg around it. Actually, like the best, like you've been such a super fucking charged, high-powered character for your entire career. Just to see if your finale is just old man Goldberg coming in for one last fucking battle and gets dismantled by this fucking Austrian wrestling machine.
Yeah. Like, oh, John, like
I go full Batman Bane with it. Like, just as you said, 5 minutes.
5 minutes, car crash.
Goldberg should look like a fucking beast, but then
Goldberg should get 3 minutes of unbelievable offense where
you should absolutely
Gunter is selling everything
that he's going to destroy him. Yeah. Gunter sells like a motherfucker.
Remember in the first when they did Goldberg Brock first and Goldberg beat him in 90 seconds, and remember the look on Brock's face when I think Goldberg hit the first spear.
Yeah,
like, oh my god,
the shock.
Give us that with Walter, but Gunter overcomes.
Yeah. I hope. I don't know if it's not going to be for Saudi Arabia now. I hope it's the Royal Rumble match.
That'd be fantastic.
And I don't think Bill Goldberg would have any complaints about having the last match on a stage like that. And a stadium show rumble.
Show, yeah.
I think it'd be good. I don't think there's anything for Goldberg to do at WrestleMania, but I think
do that. You know? And you know what? I think there'd be a healthy amount of fear there that because Goldberg has come back twice just before Mania and won the title. Yeah, there'd be enough trepidation among the fan base that he's going to do it again.
Exactly. And I think you'd want to play on that. And I do think, in terms of, if I anticipate the story they're going to tell, is the story that they're going to tell. If fucking Bane destroys fucking Batman, who's next up to try and fucking take him down? Superman.
John Cena.
You know what I mean? And if you have...
You're cooking, man.
If you have Gunter fucking literally fucking destroy Goldberg, it really sets the stage for Cena, like for looking at Cena at WrestleMania and going, he might fucking send him out on a stretcher. Like, he might kill him too.
Yeah.
Going to go full Lesnar on this, but in a meaningful way where guys don't come back.
Yeah, he gets
I think it'd be a cool little wrinkle to the potential Gunter Cena story.
All on board for it, because Gunter's promo was fantastic as well.
Yeah, and he's been working with guys that have come up with him a lot, you know, the Usos, the Priest, or whatever. It'd be nice to see him getting in there now with some with
the legends,
real legends, guys that are
the man on the way out. Like, let's be very clear, like, Gunter is one of the best professional wrestlers in the world, and he's finally been put in the spot to show that. And like, just let him run rampant. He is so good
on the mic as well.
Like, I'm actually shocked at how good his mic work was.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Like, they have done such an amazing job with him, and he was smart and lucky enough to not get too Vince destroyed at any point.
But you know what?
They really kept him away from Vince for as long as they could, just to keep him there. You know, they really did.
Like, he's
like Triple H and Michaels,
everything that makes him like, you know.
They knew what he had and what he could be, and he's evolving into that final form. Like
he reminds me now of like a spick and span Vader. That makes sense. Like,
Vader had his clothes designed by Hugo Boss.
yes, exactly. A Vader-esque destroyer in the ring who's elegant.
If Vader showered,
Yeah.
maybe even had a little bit of an aftershave,
and took off that mask. You know?
some talc.
Vader needed some talc pretty badly.
Need to get the fucking gold bond out.
So then, John, we go into what can only be described as an absolute clusterfuck of a match.
It was a real bad match.
We have Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan with Dominik in a shark cage.
What was the finish supposed to be? What happened? Please tell me. No,
Trying to watch it twice. Like,
I'm the same.
I'm assuming that Raquel makes a return and boinks Rhea Ripley when the ref isn't looking directly at them, and Liv gets the pin. I'm assuming that's what it's supposed to be.
Raquel threw Liv on top of Rhea.
And the ref is like,
did Raquel pop a Shango that shit?
I don't know.
Did she Harvey Whippleman that shit?
I don't know what happened. Like obviously, the bell had already rang, and then like Michael Cole had to pivot and say, "Look, this is symbolic because it's already a DQ." When she threw Liv on top of Rhea, but John, even up to this point, this match was a clusterfuck.
It was falling apart. Also, just from the jump, shark cage matches won't be in me top 10 of gimmick matches.
Probably wouldn't be in my top 100
Doing
gimmick
a
matches.
desert island gimmick match. Actually, a shark cage would probably be very handy on a desert island. That's besides the point. In a wrestling context, the whole when it was first brought in, I think like in the early 70s
for the manager.
Yeah, there was like a blood feud. I forget now. It was the Sheik and someone. I think maybe Freddie Blassie.
Huh.
But they had. He wasn't called the Grand Wizard then, but whatever character he was inhabiting, Ernie Roth, he was the first guy put in a shark cage that was dangled above the ring. And then so much of that usage through the 80s into the 90s was always like the manager can't interfere, but the manager drops something into the ring.
Yeah.
Really weird.
You won't get this knowledge anywhere else other than Johnny the Beast Marks
places
on Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show.
There's a lot of good books out there. Just read them.
Read any book.
But even any version of this WWE have done it. Kevin Owens was unfortunately put on one a couple of years ago. I think Sami Zayn's been put on one. It's always a real wrestlers shouldn't be up there. It should be managers. Now, it's Dominik Mysterio works fine because he is such a coward, and he's such a good coward.
And look, Dominik has
and he's booked well as
serious manager energy anyway.
Why was the shark cage in the fucking aisle? Why didn't you just lock him into his locker room?
I don't know.
It should be above.
It was also crap.
His little fall was pretty good.
That was actually
his little fall. I said so.
Like he became a pinata. I don't know. Like, do you want
that was? I think that was
wrestler being a pinata.
That was probably viable.
Like it was a pinata. Like she's smashing up the pinata.
She smashed the fuck out of him.
And like the match to me anyway. Right? It was so slow and cumbersome. Like Rhea is a great worker, but she's fallen into this trap of cinema, monologuing her way through a match instead of fighting her way through a match. And it was really frustrating me up to the point where the match completely fell apart anyway.
Yeah. There was a couple of botches, a couple of sloppy moments. The focus then was really dragged because Dominik is kind of coming back into focus an awful lot then as well. We're waiting for him to do something like his cage door opens and focus away from the match. So it felt really bitty. If it was like just there's two, if everything's just happening in one place, you can take it all in at once. But this was
and then, he falls out and he's hanging upside down by the leg. Somehow his leg was chained inside. I don't know how that happened either, but anyway,
chained his leg to it when he got inside.
Yeah,
probably.
Was it?
Like it was a bit of a contrived spot.
It was, but look, that's fine. Wrestling is contrived anyway.
Yeah,
and then Rhea speaks to the ref and gets permission to bash him with a kendo stick. And as she's doing this, Raquel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Martinez?
It was Raquel Gonzalez in NXT, but they changed it to Rodriguez.
No, it's Rodriguez.
It's the other way around.
I think it's Rodriguez.
They reversed the old one. God knows. Okay.
She shows up,
Raquel,
and bashes Rhea in front of the referee.
Yeah, but
referee has no choice but to call a shoot on the finish and say that's
look, they made a Hames of it. A Hames was made of it. It was a bit of a clusterfuck, but a couple of good things out of it. Raquel with Judgment Day is probably a good shout.
Yes,
they need some kind of enforcer in there.
Yeah,
she's a good person to get the she can fill the Rhea role now. There's a proper powerhouse, you know what I mean? With like Liv's more of a Dominik character.
Yeah.
And they can complement each other wonderfully. And
like
hopefully
the thing is, Liv has had Dominik in her corner now for a while, but Dominik can't get physically involved in the matches because it's female matches.
Yeah.
But now she has someone in her corner who can get physically involved.
Yeah, and I think, Rhea's storyline was responsible for Raquel's injury, so there's perfect reason. I think Raquel is a really good fit for Judgment Day, and I
100%.
think if they can help
the Irish Hispanic faction,
the new Irish Hispanic faction, pretty much. It's so weird, but it works. It really works. And I think if she can find a bit of personality like Priest did, like most of them have in that faction.
Oh, like Priest has gotten wonders out of it.
Leaps and bounds. So excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, just pity the match fell apart.
Just a very poor match.
Like, God. And it was frustrating as well because, again, like, then they're advertising Raw tomorrow night, Gunther versus Sammy. I was like,
would love to see that.
I'd love to see that match. I would love to see that right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's going to be a fantastic match. But no, that's on your TV show while I'm looking at this
watch clips of it in the morning, I guess.
Exactly. That's like going to be on at like 3:45 Irish time.
Yeah.
In the AM. And we get in then to the main event, John.
Yes.
Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns
teaming for the very first time.
The Mega Powers combine versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu of the Bloodline. This is chapter 76 in the Bloodline saga.
It's keeping me watching.
Give me your thoughts.
They crammed so much into this. Like, this was
jam-packed of story.
I thought it was a very satisfying main event without being too satisfying. I think it was more satisfying in terms of the storyline payoffs than the actual action.
Yeah. Like, the first 10 minutes, there was no action.
Like, they went out of their way to stop Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu just laying digs into each other for extended periods of time.
So the match was 25 minutes, 50 seconds.
It was grand in terms of the big match spectacle. I don't think anyone in the arena was going to be... Like, the audience felt really invested in it. They told the story well. It wasn't an amazing match, but it was really solid.
Like, I thought the first 10 minutes was a bore fest, and then the next 5 minutes was fine, and then I thought the last 10 minutes was... good.
Yeah, they amped it up a bit.
Once they got rolling, and what a table spot from Cody onto Fatu.
Yeah.
Like, repaying the favour of when Fatu.
That was the kind of stuff that was keeping me interested. I think, and that was it. It was the structure and the storyline payoff, because it was everything was
probably wasn't happy with the what's that thing that goes around the ring? The guardrail spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're trying.
Alan's not a fan of those now.
Al has an issue. Every WWE main event has to have a guardrail spot. I know it does look destructive, but it is overused.
It is. Same smashing tables.
I did think the table spot was very impressive, though.
It was. And like, it made sense because it was baked into the story.
Yeah, it was. They did it to him at SummerSlam, so he's doing it in return. Now, I think what has now become, in my mind, the most catastrophic, disastrous match in WWE history. Here's a hot take. Here is a steaming hot take.
Ooh.
The match that has done the most damage to WWE style main event wrestling is WrestleMania 18's Hulk Hogan versus The Rock.
Pray tell why.
Because they stared at each other and then looked at the audience and then stared at each other again. And it, at WrestleMania 18, drew mega heat from the audience. Heat, excitement, emotion. Yeah. And now every Bloodline match, they have to stare at each other. They have to look at the audience. They have to stare at each other again for several minutes on end.
But the audience are still popping.
I know, it just drives me mental. Can you not just fight each other?
They've done such a good job with storylines of creating this sense that, and we'll get to this in a major way with the post-show angle.
Two post-show angles.
A lot.
Or end of show and post-show.
Like that. So many little things, like down to like small facial gestures, as we saw with The Rock.
Has become a master of facial expression.
It's really leaned into the whole Greek drama aspect of pro wrestling, because it's now, like, it wasn't that whole I talk to you, you talk to me, we get angry.
Yeah.
Now there's, it started during the Thunderdome era a bit, where you can just hear what they're saying and what they're, the trash talk in the ring, or not the trash talk, like battle plans, fucking like all these little nuggets that different parts of the audience are going to get different parts of the experience.
Yeah.
You're not going to get everything all at once, but if you're at home and you can listen in, or if you're in the arena and you're filming something,
oh, you get great stuff. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Which is kind of how it's going now. But there was enough there to keep everybody really excited. Big, meaningful moments. I know what you mean about it being dragged out, but that's the Bloodline soap opera that we've all been invested in for 4 years now at this point.
I know. And I know, like, I'm not the target audience of that style. You know what I mean?
Why?
Because, like, the stare offs and the look to the audience, to me, I'm just like, it drives me mad.
Does it not appeal to your theatrical bones, Morro?
You know,
do you just want lads just fucking straight lamping each other?
Just want to lamping, like, just lamp each other, please. Just lamp the head off.
I know. I mean, look,
I have no issue with it when it's like WrestleMania main event epic, but like when it's done for the 5th time this year, I'm like, right, lads, come on, like, you've done this 5 times this year.
The returns were big though. Jimmy Uso's back.
Then there was such a great moment there when Roman is on the ground. Look, another thing here is the 4th match in a row with outside shenanigans.
Yeah.
And a 5-match card.
Yes.
That, to me, kind of, I know, like, of all matches, this is the match that has going to have shenanigans, so don't do it in a couple of the other ones.
I think save
it for this.
I think one of the big reasons why there was so many shenanigans is that we are facing into the faction shenanigans pay-per-view.
Yeah, I know.
The classic
Survivor Series.
It's Survivor Series season. I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
Factions been established as problems.
Yeah.
They have a lot more factions now than they've had in donkeys. So it would be great. I'd love to see a few classic.
Give me a few 4-4s, 5v5s, elimination style. Give me
I know
2 Soul Survivors.
Games, but like, let's just fucking have.
Do your War Games main event, but have 2 5v5s or 4v4s before that, and give me a Soul Survivor, and call that man a Soul Survivor for the next 6 months. You know?
Yeah.
Like, fantastic. Like, I don't know, Dragunov's injured, but like, someone like that, like Carmelo or someone, be the Soul Survivor.
Yeah.
And it becomes like almost an unofficial title for him. But
it used to be a bragging right. It made a lot of guys.
The Rock was a Soul Survivor in his early days.
Yeah, 1996 Survivor Series.
And he was called a Soul Survivor for at least 12 months.
Randy Orton had a few of those. Kofi Kingston had one, I believe. Dolph Ziggler, of course.
And that was used as like a badge of honor for those guys.
Mad badge of honor, yeah.
So do that and give me one. And whoever it is, like,
hopefully they
stick it onto a young enough guy, like, who's on the up and up.
Yeah. They used to be great, and like, I think it's a type of match that's fondly remembered by so many fans.
Yeah.
And it still hasn't entirely lost its mystique. They haven't used it really properly.
No, they haven't used it. Like,
it was very bragging rights orientated.
Raw versus SmackDown. Doesn't need to be.
Yeah, like, you have the factions. Give us a 4-4. Yeah, do the Wyatts and Judgment Day. Do 5-5.
Like, brilliant. Like, I'd love that.
Do a mixed tag version. Yeah.
Oh, mixed tag would be class as well.
You got Chad Gable's faction there as well. You've a lot of factions knocking about the place.
Like, I just think even if, like, make Brutus Creed your Soul Survivor.
Yeah,
whatever. Like,
one arm, just have the crack. Yeah.
But to get back to this, so like, Gorillas of Destiny come in, interfere. Cody's in bits after flying through a table with
Jimmy
Jacob.
Comes out from under the ring, standing there for ages. I liked how, like, it wasn't a big fanfare.
No,
hops the barricade or whatever. He really subtly. I mean, my first time seeing him in that, I was like, "Who the fuck's your man in the background?"
What's going on here?
The announcers didn't call anything towards it. Nobody paid.
Done really well.
You could just see a guy was after emerging very quietly
in between the 2 Gorillas of Destiny,
and he didn't come into focus until Solo noticed him.
Yes,
and that's what got Solo distracted.
And Solo gets distracted. Jimmy hits the Gorillas of Destiny.
Jimmy gets a great pop.
Oh, fantastic pop. Hits the 2 boys with super kicks, reveals his face. Solo loses his mind. Roman gains the upper hand. Spear, pin.
Yeah.
Jimmy gets into the ring. Roman sees who it is. Some great facial expressions of Roman being like, I thought I lost all of you.
Yeah.
But you were back with me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was
Jimmy,
brilliant.
and you can look at that in another way because, Jimmy was always the most kind of sycophantic one towards Roman. So that, I think for anyone, like, I don't think that's going to be necessarily making Sammy or Jay go, oh yeah, we want to be back in with them.
No, not yet. Like,
at least it's consistent with those 2 characters.
Exactly. But it still leaves the thing of, like, there still has to be some more redemption for Roman to get Jay and Sammy back.
Like, do you think that they're going to do in the next, how far are we off Survivor Series?
We have about 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Like, is that what they're going to do? Are they going to get the OG bloodline
I think
back together?
They have to.
I kind of feel like Cody's going to be involved in it at this point.
Yeah, but that's 5v5 then, isn't it? If
like,
Cody's in the OG bloodline and Cody.
What if Owens is in there? What if The Rock is with Roman and Cody?
Or The Rock is against Roman and Cody.
I feel like the storyline could be, because we don't know where The Rock exactly lies.
No.
But I think it's fair to assume that he's possibly the secret. I feel like
he's the Hulk Hogan in the NWO.
I feel what this is building towards is that Solo's going to reveal that
it's The Rock all along.
And The Rock, and he's only been keeping it warm for him, which would maybe cause some kind of friction then with Jacob Fatu. But I feel like The Rock pretending to be with Roman and then getting all of them into getting Roman, Cody,
all of them into a cell-like structure at War Games.
Yeah, maybe they bring out. Maybe there's another one, like, because they have a few in the tank. Hikaleo's in the tank.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather Zilla Fatu.
So I suppose what we didn't say is, Roman and Cody nod at each other across the ring. Cody and Jimmy. Or Roddy? Roman and Jimmy got to leave. The bloodline attack Cody again. There's a moment there as Roman going to help him. Jimmy says, you gave him your word.
Yeah.
The boys come back, save Cody, and Jimmy throws a few more sweet looking super kicks in his Jordans.
Yeah.
And then if you smell what The Rock is cooking,
Here comes Dwayne. Yeah.
Doesn't say anything.
Take a shot, Terramana. He's back.
Still wearing his big belt.
Remember the big belts that Muhammad Ali's widow gave him?
Yeah. Look, if you want to wear your belt, Rock.
I'm not going to argue with your Rock. He did very little. He raised the eyebrow, which was actually just perfect.
Just perfect. And then he left. And we're left wondering. Perfect.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. But I think that was the fucking klaxon call of WrestleMania season.
Oh, yeah. It's starting now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Whatever they're building.
Now we're on the road.
You can see the ingredients been fucking mixed up.
And it was just enough to generate intrigue, to leave a lot of unanswered questions of, what's going on here with The Rock?
Yeah, and it doesn't feel overexhausted yet. I think The Rock been back, and even Jimmy Uso been back, has kind of charged it up a bit again.
It's kind of got me more excited for Bloodline stuff again. I was tired. I was a little bit tired of Bloodline stuff. Solo wasn't doing it for me. Jacob was. But I was getting a little bit tired of it.
Yeah.
And all of this, even though I wasn't a big fan of the match structure, as I've said before, but I thought it was good, a very good piece of business. Like, it generated more interest for me going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm really intrigued to see where this goes. I don't entirely know how the storyline's going to play out going into War Games.
No, but that's good.
I wouldn't even be surprised if this has been a red herring and the War Games match isn't them. You know what I mean?
Maybe
it isn't.
Yeah, I would like it to be. I feel like
they justify the new Bloodline. Definitely justify.
I also feel like Cody needs a War Games match.
Yeah, he hasn't had a War Games match.
Never had a War Games match.
Yeah, this kind of has to be his one, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see then how the Randy Orton's Kevin Owens feud into this, because Sami Zayn, I think once Sami probably loses to Gunter on Raw, this episode will have come out by the time that happens, so you'll know. But I feel like Sammy's going to be at least cleared up to move on to possible bloodline shenanigans.
Yeah, you just lose clean on Raw to Gunter.
Probably where it's going to go. Jay, I'm not sure if he's Intercontinental Champion.
Unless, no. Because they're doing the champion versus champion in Saudi next month. Unless Sammy wins and he's facing Cody, and that's how all the bloodline stuff gets folded in together.
Maybe Goldberg shows up tonight and fucks up fucking Gunter. Who knows?
Maybe he does, yeah.
Gunter can win it back.
Shit. And Sammy gets a run of the title. And he can eat a pin to Cody in Saudi.
And also, he's big in Saudi, isn't he? Well, they tried to ban him for years, but the fans love him.
The fans love him.
Post-match angle then.
Post-show angle.
Fantastic job. One of the most innovative creative things.
Fantastic.
I think that they've actually ever done.
Yes. Shot by fan footage.
Lads, do your little fucking bits of street theatre around the arena just for fans to pick up. Don't mention it online.
Kevin Owens turned
amazing. In the fucking
fan footage.
Yeah, in the concourse of just outside the fucking building, and fans are just filming this.
They see Cody and KO having an argument.
If you see that first, you're a fan going out of the arena and you see that and you're like, again, a glimpse of the lads backstage after the show.
Cool.
And they knew that, and
let's record the boys.
And then it got to the point where people could tell, they're playing their angle.
Yeah.
And WWE just let that fan footage go online of what was a vicious attack. I mean, Owen stomped the shit out of him.
It was excellent.
It was excellently done.
Kevin Owens is one of the greatest
I'm obsessed with
wrestlers.
Kevin Owens' car. I don't know what kind of car I expected him to have, but it wasn't that.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
Like foreign Night Rider. Fucking.
Well, Kevin Owens is one of the greatest wrestlers of
definitely.
of his generation.
But the fact that
in ring and out of ring, everything he does.
It took them hours to acknowledge it, and then Triple H put up a tweet.
We're aware of
whatever incident that happened. We'll be dealing in house.
Yeah,
the intrigue. I love that they're doing this. It's so innovative.
I kind of hope that Kevin Owens turns up to the next TV episode and just doesn't acknowledge what happened.
Just real chill.
It's like, what
happened? Yeah.
What happened?
He knows the wrestling tropes. That's his that's his top trump, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's more aware of the tropes of wrestling than anyone else, and he can manipulate them.
Like, it was such a fantastic angle. How it was done, how it was handled. Loved it.
Really excellent. Has to be so intrigued as to where it's going to go going forward. Like, is Cody going to take, do we get is it going to be Owens and fucking Sammy?
Yeah, I don't know.
See, everyone, like, we're in that fucking era where everybody just presumes that a champion wins a belt until holds it till WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, holds it for like 10.
Everybody gets 10, the big kind of reign. But like, you never know.
Maybe you can do a few swapsies around, a few short rounds in between to keep people guessing.
Do you think a Cody Rock match needs a belt? Do you think
No,
I don't think Rock Roman needs a belt.
that absolutely does not need a belt.
Yeah.
They'll fight for the big red thing.
Gunter and Cena will definitely benefit from a belt.
Because
you're telling the story of Cena's final,
and his can he become 17-time champion, first person ever to do it?
Yeah,
like that, which baked in,
which would be a lot more potent now if we manage to get Gunter to literally murder William Goldberg.
That would be perfect.
To put him down.
Yeah, and
maybe there's someone else that you can take out before then as well.
What other legends would be knocking around
that you could retire? That you could legitimately retire. Oh man, Angle Gunter would have been great if only Angle was up to it. Like, because if there's one more match you can have for Angle along the way, if he could pull one off, I'd say he'd rather just be destroyed by Gunter than that 5-minute loss to Baron Corbin or WrestleMania being his swan song.
Yeah, let it be Gunter. Yeah, that's
I don't know.
Overall thoughts, John?
Really good show. Definitely a better show in terms of storylines and in-ring quality.
But we did get, like, my in-ring thirst was satisfied in the first 40 minutes of the show.
Punk and Drew did enough for me. I was kind of happy to coast after that. Like,
unbelievable.
I immediately enjoyed Bayley and Nia Jax, and like, it wasn't really till the Judgment Day stuff that it flagged. But I thought everything else was really great.
But then it came out of the Judgment Day flag with the Bloodline telling, really intriguing stuff in the main event anyway.
Yeah.
So aside from a bit of a downer mid-show with the two Judgment Day matches, like, this is a really good pay-per-view.
Solid card. I mean, again, could do another match, could do another 2 matches maybe.
Yeah.
But,
I'm blue in the face. I've sat here with Shane reviewing multiple shows and I'm blue in the face saying 3.5 hours, 5 matches is not enough for me.
Like 5 matches should be fucking 2.5 hours.
Like, Dynamite did 4 or 5 matches in 2 hours last Wednesday for the 5th anniversary.
There's good lengthy matches in the mix there.
I know, but I was still left wanting more.
You just want more.
I want more wrestling.
Lads fucking fighting,
like 4
This was definitely very storyline heavy, but I don't think Survivor Series will be maybe that storyline.
No, but they advanced a lot, and I know we have Saudi next month. I don't think that's going to be a 5-match card. They feel like they booked that quite similar to I know they did last time for the King and Queen of the Ring, but they kind of feel like they booked that more like a WrestleMania type show with multiple matches.
Yeah, they do. I think they've started to book those cards.
Will Punk show up in Saudi after his comments?
I hope for his fucking dignity and his pride. I hope he really doesn't.
Oh yeah, because he made those comments.
I would lose a bit of respect for him now. To be fair, that would not be.
I just thought of that. I wonder will he? He's made comments in the past.
And look, the guys who don't want to take the blood money don't take the blood money.
Yeah, lots of people haven't gone.
John Cena.
Yeah. Did Kevin go on the end later on in it?
Or Cena did at the beginning, but then was like, no, I'm not doing it.
He needs to protect his Hollywood image there.
Hollywood image, yeah.
So yeah.
Good show.
This has been the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show. Follow us on all those social media things. Like, comment, subscribe. We're I think just gone over 1,000 subs or over 1,500 subscribers on YouTube. So
nice.
Keep subscribing, like, comment and stuff, and we'll answer.
Yeah, we will talk. We were just shit talking anyway, so just join us.
Join us shit talking. Thank you and goodbye.